Hey, how's it going? It's Carl, aka Carl Drum Tech. I'm here right now at the Western Museum of Flight here in Torrance, California, and I thought it was kind of cool that we have this over here. I never knew. Maybe one day I'll go visit it. I have not visited it since I've been here for a long time, so it's kind of strange, but I think one day it'll be kind of cool. Got some cool planes here behind me. When I was young, I used to be really into planes, so I think this is a cool background for my latest video blog here today. And today I want to talk about a topic that always reoccurs, and students always have questions about it, and that is about the topic of leadership and how to be a good leader. And I've definitely done a few videos on that subject as well, and I can definitely keep going on and on and on and about it and creating more and more videos. So I just want to take another perspective in terms of just like, if you are a leader, a lot of times when the people under you, or even as a teacher, right? If the people you're teaching or the people who are under you don't necessarily do the things that you need them to do. And obviously that's one of the challenges of being a leader, of being a teacher, is to get other people to do what you need them to do, right? It's always very challenging, and it's not easy to kind of like, have that effect on people who have their own ideas, who have their own plans, who have their own aspirations, who have their own different, unique personalities that are really challenging to kind of reach and get to them in terms of just like relating to them, so that they will want to listen to you, they will be inspired to follow you. And that's just one of the biggest challenges, and it's worth talking about over and over again because of how challenging it is. Now, the thing is, when you are in that position and let's say you just have trouble getting the people to do what you need them to do. For example, like you might be harping on the same things over and over again, and it just seems like the people under you just seems to be like they just keep doing it and doing it, no matter how many times you say it, no matter all kinds of different ways you say it. You might say that you're being nice, you're being encouraging and all that stuff. And I think that is still the way to go, no matter what. I think it's not just about being nice. It's not about sugarcoating. It's about telling them what needs to be done, telling them what they need to hear, being extremely honest to them, but at the same time not being very how do you call it? The word is condescending, and condescending is what that means is like you are basically putting yourself above another person, and you talk to them as such, right? Like they're as if you were some king or monarch and everybody else is a peasant or a commoner, right? And it's just like has this air of superiority, like I'm the shit and everybody else is like nothing, right? So that you don't want to talk to people that way. Nobody likes to be spoken to in that way. And maybe in some other time, like maybe that was acceptable and people just, whatever, this is what it is. But nowadays, obviously, that's not going to fly. Everybody, I've said this many, many times in many different videos, everybody's the same. Everybody's equal. Nobody's above anybody else. Just because you're a leader, just because you're a teacher, just because you've accomplished a lot of things, does not make you a better person than somebody else, all right? It doesn't make you a better human being. That is absolutely true, because we're all made of the same stuff. We're all equal. We all have the same fears. We all have the same, aspirations. We all have dreams, right? So we're all equal in that respect, okay? So we have to treat each other with respect, even in a higher authority position, okay? So like I said, non-condescending and being very respectful is definitely the way to go, all right? Now, if you are having trouble still getting people to do what you need them to do, and your last resort is to yell and scream and get mad and like, just like, demean them, or like just get angry. Like, what the heck, guys? Like, why aren't you doing what I need you to do? If getting angry and getting frustrated and yelling at people is your last resort, then you lack imagination and originality, okay? So, and I'm not being up on this high and mighty place where I'm just saying like, well, you need to do this, like this is the way to go. Trust me, I've had my struggles being a teacher, being a leader, getting people to do the things that I need them to do. And yes, my last resort has turned into frustration, anger, yelling at people. I used to, one of my best drum lines is when I first started out as a teacher. My first 2 years, we won a championship the second year, but I was overbearing, I was condescending, I was trying to teach people, I was trying to run the program out of fear and intimidation, and we were good, right? There's no doubt about it. We won a championship. The line was extremely good. It was extremely respected by a lot of people, and then guess what happened the next year? Everybody quit. All right, so you could say, what the heck, why do you guys want to stay? Like, we're so good, we're a winning program, and yet everybody wanted to quit. Well, everybody hated me. That's the thing. It's like, you know, I was very like I said, condescending and treating people with disrespect. You know, if people did something wrong, like, you know, even a little tiny thing, I made them do push-ups. So, you know, it's just, that was like one of the biggest lessons for me when I first started, was just like, you know, this is not the way to go, right? Now, you know, again, even after that, you know, as I got better with that with that aspect of teaching, my last resort tended to be, you know, frustration and anger and yelling at people. And, you know, I'm going to sit here and tell you that, yes, I lacked originality, I lacked imagination, I lacked, you know, resourcefulness. Because at the end of the day, you know, affecting people and getting people to do the things that you need to do is an art. It's something that you need to think about. You need to understand people. You need to like really be critical about it and be like a mad scientist and figure out what makes people tick, like what sets them off, what makes them angry, but what also gets them to be inspired, what gets them to like do things, what gets them to like want to follow you and be inspired by you. It's a very cool and interesting game. Not a lot of people know that it exists, but it is definitely there, because it's such a challenging thing to kind of read and figure out people and what is the difference between each person, and what can you do differently with each individual to affect them in a positive way, to get them to move in the direction you need them to move. That is why the greatest leaders of our society are who they are, because they figured out that game. They learned how to, you know, affect people. They learned how to talk to people in such a way that they were inspired to follow them, and that is what makes them great. You talk about the Martin Luther King Jr.'s. You're talking about, like, you know, the presidents of the United States. You're talking about, you know, great generals, you know, in the past. There's so many different examples, right? Even just like successful people who are in successful positions in a corporate situation, you know, presidents and owners of these huge companies, you know, they were leaders. They were able to affect people to move in such a way that, you know, it moved mountains, basically, right? So that is your challenge. Your challenge is to learn about people, figure out what makes them tick, and figure out what makes them want to do the things that you need them to do. And if your last resort is to yell and scream and get angry, then I don't know what to say. You're basically, you know, not being resourceful. You're not being resourceful enough, and you're not using your brain. Okay, so use your brain. All right, you know, talk to people. Listen to them. That's huge, right? Listen to people. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to what their ideas are. Listen to their perspective of you. You know, it's like, you know, maybe you haven't even taken the time to listen to them and hear, like, okay, why are you not doing what I need you to do? Well, because you're an overbearing asshole. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, but the thing is, you will never know unless you ask. So communicate, talk to people, and get to know them. Get to know each individual person, so that you can learn how to effectively, not manipulate them, but effectively, you know, move them in a direction that you need them to go. All right. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Thank you so much if you've been watching. If you like this video, please make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, or have a topic that you want me to hit up, make sure you leave that in the comments as well. And as always, if you have not subscribed, what the heck are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe, and I always appreciate every single subscriber. And of course, if you have a friend who you feel like could use this video, make sure you share this video on all your social media platforms. All right, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.